Welcome to Moments of Clarity podcast. I'm Vanessa from XXL. We got Shah, Rahman, JFK. Everybody's here. And I guess we have some news going on this week, right?
Yep.
So let's jump right into it. I think the first thing to start is DaBaby. So DaBaby seems like a star, right? I mean, #1 album this week. BET Best New Artist at the awards, and it's
performed about
DaBaby
8
time.
different times.
I heard he performed, but I didn't get to see everything. But I heard he performed, like, he just kept on coming out and coming out and coming out. So yeah, how do we feel? DaBaby, a rap star? What's going on?
Feel good. You know, he's a fantastic performer. I love the energy. Like, you know, he's one of those guys. He's almost like, damn near like a Dennis Rodman type. How Dennis Rodman in basketball, how he's not afraid to get dirty and do whatever it takes to get the job done. That's what Baby is. Like, if he has to wear a costume, I saw one thing where he like literally
Or a diaper.
A diaper. He slid all the way across the floor. I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel. You know, he's out there with the people. You know, I just saw some footage of him. Shout out to my man Chewy out in North Carolina and Charlotte. Little's in Charlotte too. I saw some footage of them, and my man was like literally enshrined in a crowd full of people performing in the club, doing his thing. Had everybody like around him in a circle, and you know, it's great. I think him and Megan they're the 2 great new artists of this year, and I'm having fun watching both of them.
Yeah, I think he's dope. I love the storyline where he keeps talking about his father and, you know, how much impact, you know, he's had in his career. And, you know, because it feels like this whole new generation of, like, artists, you know, for me, like, the only thing that's missing is, like, a lack of substance. You know what I'm saying? So when I got to really sit and listen to what he was saying about, you know, his pops not being there, and like how he was a big part of like his movement, I thought that was really dope, you know, because it's just a reminder, you know, in the end of the day, you know, that we need like that substance factor, you know, that what comes along with this, and you know, and aside from that, you know, I was watching the BET Awards, you know, he looks good, you know, he
does.
You know, he moves around like he owns it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a gimmick or somebody just like propped him up.
Have we
like
not had that in a while? Like, it's really working for him. What do we like about it?
It feels really authentic.
Authentic what? Authentic street? Authentic what's feeling authentic
feels-
about it? Because you could say some of the nerdier rappers are authentic.
It feels like an authentic rapper.
Okay.
It feels like his push is organic too. It's like he didn't come out the box with just like the. Well, I mean, he had some records early on. Of course, Suge was big early on, but you know, we getting a chance to see a progression. You know, like you know, sometimes you have artists that come out and this song is so big. You know, like Juice WRLD song is so big, and that's not no disrespect to him because you want the big record, but it's like after you got a song so big and you break all these streaming records and everything, like where do you go? Like it's tough to grow from there. So. You know, I like seeing the progression. I like seeing the growth. You know, like with Cardi B, she came out with Bodak. It was so big, but you know, she had some other hits as well. Right. They might not have been as big as Bodak, but they were also big. And you know, I think the best is yet to come from Baby.
Yeah, it the shit that what he's talking about, you know, it just felt different from like that entire class. You know what I'm saying? Like for the past like couple years.
And he
like,
got different flow. Like, right. You know, as an MC, like it seems like he's really taking time to perfect the craft. I'm hearing different flows. I'm hearing different cadences sometimes. You know, of course, like Rahman was saying, the subject matter. So, and the performance is really, really big. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if by this time next year, we see him headlining his own tour of, you know, arenas or something like that, because he's definitely giving a great performance. I like to see him and Megan go on tour together, like two.
That would be dope.
That would be crazy.
That would be pretty dope. You called that Shy.
There we go.
They owe you a percentage
Something.
fee or something
Back
right
it
there.
up. We put them on a cipher together.
Yeah,
so
we
we
gotta-
know that.
They owe Vanessa a percentage fee. Let's go back.
Take some shots right here.
Let's go back.
First all that
We'll
shit in the
split
cipher.
the,
Let's
you
go
know?
back.
10%. We'll split the 10%. Live Nation, you heard it here. Let's split that.
Let's put the tour together. Let's go.
But I think
XXL
the big
presents.
thing is he's very charismatic. He's personable, he's
Definitely,
charismatic,
yeah.
and there's a violent element that people actually do like. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what crazy headline you're going to get next. So I think that's kind of interesting because you still feel like he's kind of living like a wild side too. And then you've got this kind of crossover connection to, I mean, what is it? All of his songs are on the charts. You know, everything from the album. You know, which we've seen before.
Well,
but,
I think it's like a real side. I wouldn't say like violent. Like although he gets down with the violence if he has to, I think it's a real side. I think it's like
not that it's not a real side, but I think people are there's an element of surprise that could go on with a baby show or a baby performance or
like
whatever.
What's gonna happen next time?
Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen next time.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fan stood next to him and held him a little too close, and he doesn't respond to that too well. Like there is a kind of a hold your breath element with him. Not like he's gonna be dangerous and violent and hurt whoever's around, but that there could be some messiness along the way.
And I think at the same time too, he also has the fun, playful side.
Totally,
too. And I
putting on a costume, yeah.
Mm-hmm, so it's like that contrast that sort of keeps you on your toes.
Right.
Is he gonna be the fun, like
and a smile? He's got
big
the
smile,
biggest smile.
right,
I mean,
animated.
it's just a big smile with white pearly teeth right in your face, you know, and grinning and looking like he's having the time of his life.
Right.
So we like him.
we like him.
We like, yeah, I like him.
Consensus.
Consensus, keep winning.
I'm with him.
What's your favorite record?
Not to sound cliche, but I like the Suge record just for, you know, not just because of the record, like just because of the concept. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was real smart how he put that together. The timing was perfect. I think it's gonna really be timeless. You know, and you know, and aside from that, like it's a really banging song. So, as of now, it's that record for me.
I like that one. I like Babysitter too.
Yeah, I think the Suge record is definitely, it was pretty smart.
And everybody seems to like the intro a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say
intro. The intro being a song. Yeah, that seems to be it.
The intro, I think that's gonna be what Dreams and Nightmares was for me, for him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, that was good. So support the baby. That's a big week for him. We'll see what happens next. All right, another big story this week: Drake and his father. So Drake's father comes out. He says something to the effect of that Drake basically made up the rhymes about him being an absentee father for entertainment's sake. Drake came out and responded, said, "Woke up today so hurt, man. My father will say anything to anyone that's willing to listen to him. It's sad when family gets like this, but what can you really do? That's the people we are stuck with. Every bar I ever spit was the truth, and the truth is hard for some people to accept." Emoji.
I saw a comment on
and then Pusha
something on Twitter, right? The Pusha thing, I'm still trying to understand that. But I saw something on social, and they were like, you know, there's just some things, and this goes back to, you know, my whole position. They were like, there's just some things that's just like private, like you don't air that out in public. They was like, Drake should have just called his pops.
Yeah.
Which he should have. You know, I thought that the shit was like, what's the video? And his pops was in it, like the man old school. They had like this, like the ties on, like the fucking the old school mob.
Was it what he did out in Memphis?
Worst behavior or
worst behavior?
Yeah,
in Memphis, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, and I was like, damn, that shit is dope. He got his pops in the video, and he's like all like G'd up, and he got his peoples in the shit too. They got the whips in it. I thought that was dope, you know. So, you know, it's unfortunate to hear that. It always appeared to be like they had a great relationship.
I just don't understand why the dad would say that stuff. I hear you saying that Drake should call him and squash it like that and not be public with the response, and why involve us in it, and why not just, but why did the dad even say that? Like, why wouldn't the dad think me coming out and saying my son made up his lyrics just for entertainment's sake isn't going to be a fucked up thing that your son's going to be cool with?
Right.
It seems like that's a diss going at your son to a degree. Like,
Yeah,
it seems like you went in on your son, and we don't even know why, to act like your son, like you're going to be on Push's side. He doesn't even write his own side. His rhymes are fake or who knows what.
You know,
like,
maybe
that's
he
weird.
Have even been doing the interviews in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah,
somebody
somebody got him. Somebody railroaded him.
I mean,
and it worked.
He was on the Nick Cannon show.
Shout out to Nick.
I guess he was putting. I know his
Yeah,
father likes to
shout
put
out
out
to him.
some music. His father likes to put out music too, but
his father's got to be living vicariously through the success of his son, right? I mean, you're Drake's dad.
Yeah.
Like, your whole life has changed because you're Drake's dad, right? We don't even know how he funds his father, or if he funds his father, if his father's living a better life, or his rent's paid, or whatever, or he buys. We don't know any of that, but we know that we've watched the father for the past few years run around and be Drake's dad.
And if you
and publicly,
if you notice, like, listening to Drake's like music, he only talked about his mom.
He's a mom. Yes.
Which is why it was so compelling when, like, out the blue, like, you saw a video and you saw his pops.
Well, you had a feeling
he
like
went
went to Memphis here and there and visited there, but really was core raised in Canada with the mom. And so you didn't really understand what the relationship was between him and the dad. But with the dad by his side, joining him on tour at times or that kind of stuff, you always thought, like, he co-signed the dad was doing stuff that he was cool with. This was like the first, and he's cool with his dad running around doing interviews. This was the first thing we were like, what?
Yeah.
You know that's not cool to say about your son. Like, I don't know, maybe they slipped you up, they got you, but you know you weren't supposed to say that he's making stuff up. And is that true or not? But you shouldn't have said it.
Right,
exactly. It didn't look like Nick was, when I saw a piece of the interview, it didn't look like Nick was, like, trying to, like
baiting him, like,
right.
It looked like he just was, like,
he gave it him,
But it wasn't the first time he said that, though. I mean, he went on It's the Real, Jeff and Eric's podcast this summer, and he said the same thing. Like, I talked to Drake and said, why are you saying these things about me not being in your life when you were younger? And he was like, Dad, it's just for entertainment. Basically the same thing. So it's like...
So is he trying to clean up that he wasn't the greatest father to him, or is he trying to get it out there that he was a better father than Drake makes it look like? You know, is there a defense to himself? And he's like, well, he's made me look like a bad dad, but I really wasn't. And then in that kind of thing, you wind up kind of throwing your son under the bus, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you got to protect that franchise at any cost.
Right.
Some things is worth falling on the sword.
You just don't do the interview, or you pass on the question. Yeah.
I believe Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, the one thing about him and his music earlier on, and even now, it always felt like, he was really, like, pouring his heart out. He was giving, like, a lot of personal feelings.
Right. There's one thing that's what we do get right.
About his family, which I think, was a big sticking point when people were like, oh, you have a kid and you didn't say nothing about it, and you've been a guy who's been historically all about, like, your personal life. But you kept this, you kept this one part closed. You know what I'm saying? So for the fact that he's done all the, like, this entire catalog has come out, and he's not really said that much about his pops like that. Like, you got to look at that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we get attracted to artists. We get attracted to them because it feels like they're telling the truth. Like, they're telling some shit to which you can relate to.
Did the dad decide, and I don't know, I could be crossing lines here, but we're talking, did the dad decide that, now my son has value because he's a rap star, so I'm going to be closer to the flame. I'm going to be closer to him and develop this relationship.
You know what I think it could
and Drake wants the relationship with dad he never had because the dad's drawn into the money and the fame. We've seen that happen before.
What I think it could be, too, is just the perception is different, too. Like, some guys, when they spend time with their father, it might just be in spurts. Like, they might have a good, like, 2-3 years when dad is around. And, in the father mind, he thinking, he
doing his thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, he's like, nah, I need more than 2-3 years.
Yeah. I think that's
20-some years old.
I think that's what it is right there. I think that's exactly what it is. And now, obviously, like, Drake is older.
So and a father himself.
Right.
And
so
it was weird how we all found out about that.
Let me make sure I solidify the shit. Like, fuck it, whatever happened in the past, you still can't ignore what happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? So when he's like, "Oh, you said X, Y, and Z," he's like, "Yeah, I meant that." Did Dad know he shouldn't have?
Did Dad know he shouldn't have said, "My son lies around his raps"? Did Dad know that was a fucked up line to say, and he did it anyway, or did Dad fuck up?
I think he probably just effed
up. Did he take a shot at him? I
don't think he took a shot. I think it might have been a knee-jerk reaction.
I think he kind of took a shot. You ain't see no apology.
I agree with you. I think he kind of took a shot, and then you wonder. Yeah, I think he kind of took a shot too.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he was trying to just save his own image, and in doing that, it's sort of taking a shot at Drake. But I don't know.
But then you call your son and you apologize. Yo, they took that the wrong way. Blah blah blah. And then Drake doesn't have to go on Instagram and post that and say you're unfortunately related to who you're related to or whatever. So Drake's response made me feel like him and Dad did speak on it. And he felt like the way to air it out was, or speak, to go public about it is kind of interesting. But it doesn't feel like Dad called him up as like, yo, I'm so sorry this is going to come out. They got me the wrong way. I didn't mean that. He didn't try to apologize or clarify it.
Right.
Drake responded, and Drake then took a shot at him.
But look, we work in the land of media. There's no way in hell that if they, I mean this with all due respect, if they are that close, that man would have never done an interview and been saying some shit that he know that wouldn't have settled well with Drake.
Right.
Puff's moms will never get and go do an interview and say some shit about him that she know is not going to sit well with him.
Supposed to be on the same team, yeah.
So there's some, that it just showed there's some level of divide.
I've never even seen Puff Mom.
She's been on she's done a couple.
She used to do more back a little years ago. She would do more, right?
I think sometimes, man, you just gotta fall back. Like I think his dad should have just.
And a lot of these parents, like, they won't even do interviews.
No, but Drake's dad, we've interviewed him. The podcasts have interviewed him. It's like he's definitely been out there running around being Drake's dad.
He's doing his music.
But is that funny? Active. Is that funny? He's putting out music, or is that like? I mean, let's stop it right there. He's putting out music. That's not weird to anybody.
But wasn't he? I think he was an artist before then too, though.
Yeah, he was.
Right,
he's
before
always
Drake
been
really blew up.
Shoot,
but he's definitely
he getting
riding
on
that wave right now.
Get on that wave. Shoot.
I don't know. I feel for Drake. I do. I mean, when you're somebody that big and that famous, life is hard to it. It's in its own ways, right? Family dynamic. Who's using you? Who cares about you? Who got ulterior motives? All that stuff, and you got to decide like. What's really my core world, right? What's really the core people that I can trust? And if your dad's not part of that, or your dad's kind of on the weird side of it, that seems fucked up. I do feel for Drake on the whole thing. If it is, like your father it said some shit, we don't know if it's true or not. You're straight up telling the public that your dad wasn't really there for you and he's lying. There's obviously a division there. I feel for him on that kind of thing, to even have to deal with it.
So the Pusha T angle.
So the Pusha T emoji, is that at Drake or not? Because it's not a reply, right? It's standing on its own.
It was just its own emoji. Its
right.
own tweet.
Yeah.
With the emoji of for people that can't.
But that's what it is. He's talking about Drake, right? I mean, yes or no? Like, we think that was a Drake shot or no? I'm 100% over there. Yes.
I think
Push
sure.
Push like the troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push he's having a good time with
He knows that people would, even if it wasn't, he knows that people would take it. With the timing of him making that tweet, he knows people would take it that way. I'm sure he stays.
It makes me feel bad for Drake even more. Like I feel bad when your dad's involved in the whole thing and it's that personal to you. I don't know. I feel bad about it.
Y'all know who Pusha T is. He like this type of stuff, man. Push lives for this.
Well, we went and exposed him on his son's side, so he's got no qualms with the father-son stuff and being involved in all that.
Yeah, and he talked about it in his song too. Yeah, in his story of Adidon. He said something about his dad being a deadbeat and him being just like him. So,
yeah, that's what I kind of chalked it all up to, was he was kind of taking responsibility for going back to that record. Mm-hmm. Like, I put a lot of this stuff out there then, but hey, there's a lot of rappers out there who got there's a lot of rappers out there who got issues with their pops.
Not just rappers, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're a multi-millionaire superstar and all that, and the whole dynamic changes. Yeah, we've seen it.
Yep.
Okay, so Drake's dealing with stuff. Now let's see what else is going on.
He'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
He got a lot of money.
He'll be fine. Second Shaq and Dame disses. They keep dissing each other. This one I'm not as interested in. I know you guys all are, because it's got a heavy NBA side to it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But you guys, go for it.
Was it Shaq's son? Was like, he said his pops had the best record? I think it was.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. He said, wow.
Yeah.
Nobody do it.
He
better say that.
He weighed in on it.
He better say it.
I mean, if we have more daddy issues, and he's going to go there and say that the better disc came from Dame,
right.
we'd be there like, what?
Again, Damian Lillard is like, he really raps. Like, he really raps. He does a great job. Shaq has kind of been retired for a minute. Just my 2 cents.
I think this second round was clearly Dame. And then, Shaq, like 2 days later after he put out his response, he had the George Jefferson hairline cut on the gram, clowning around. Shaq is just having a good time, man. He playing around. And I think with Shaq, in a lot of ways he could be, I don't want to say bored, but he could be looking for that extra spark to get him as a rapper, and this was it. I think it was fun while it lasted, but the first round, they should have just kept it at that first round, because this is not something that the people was asking more of. But the second round, I'm giving it clear cut to Dame. First round, I like both. I think it was which way it depends on which way you want to look at. If you want to look at the humor, if you want to look at the razor sharp lines, but this second round was clearly Dame, and I think he just need to focus on the season, man, because them Lakers is looking tough, man.
Not today they wasn't, but okay.
Oh yeah, they did catch a little beat.
But they have been looking tough though.
But see, I'm feeling a little way about the KD and how he talked about the Knicks and stuff too, man.
Yeah. Oh, he just said they're not cool, right?
Yeah. Let's go in. Let's address that really quick. Okay. Because I'm gonna tell you. You can't be a nigga from New York coming to New York talking about New York niggas. Like we New York, like we New York niggas. Regardless, however we feel, like if we want to put our momentum into X, Y, and Z, that's what we do. We can't go to Oakland and be telling Oakland niggas like, oh, you can't mess with the Warriors or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right, yeah.
That's their thing. You can't come here like that, fam. Don't let the NBA get you all hype like that. The Nets will never, ever be a New York town. Like, they're not going to win a championship with these guys,
right.
To be clear. They're going to win a lot of games because they was good. They was good before them, so they're only going to be even better. But they're not going to win a championship. You're talking about Madison Square Garden. You know what I'm saying? Madison Square Garden versus going to Brooklyn. I got a lot of family in Brooklyn. But a lot of niggas ain't going to Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll go to Madison Square Garden. Like, it's a temple for a reason. Yeah. Whatever. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that the matter is, like, him making these comments, he shows that he's not cognizant of, like, how it even works like that. Like, coming to New York or whatever the case may be. So it's fine, but I don't think that they really should be feeding into all that hype like that. But he definitely was very disrespectful to a lot of people who's running around here who's supportive of that culture. It's a culture. It's just like it's like music. It's a culture, regardless however you see it.
The Knicks should release a diss song to Kevin Durant.
I mean, he has a lot of he has a lot of valid points. I will say that, but you can't. You fresh like 2-3 months. You can't come into New York talking shit
like that, right? About the Knicks,
yeah. About
and he's not gonna play this year.
It just don't work like that.
Poor Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, I didn't like the comments,
And we love KD.
Again, the Knicks. I think a lot of it. I think he should have just put it on the owner, man. Like the Knicks, period. Like. People love the Knicks, man. It's a lot of people.
But they don't love the Jimmy Dolan and the Knicks management.
Yo,
that's what you're gonna.
Exactly. Niggas will wear New York Knicks hats, gear all day long, like whatever. Yeah. Like it's a movement.
Imagine if the Knicks actually won the championship, though.
Shit like that.
If the Knicks actually won an NBA championship, like what would happen with the city? How excited New York City would be. It's how many years in the making, how many times close. Because my era is gonna be Knicks, Bulls.
They're the fucking Yankees of basketball.
Pacers, yeah.
Heat.
Those rivalries.
They haven't won a championship.
They will. Come on. Have faith.
Yeah.
Have faith. They will.
All right, back to hip hop. JT is out. The City Girl, the one half of the City Girls who was locked up, is out free. And now the City Girls can be together. Hot Girl Autumn. What was the other one that you were saying? Sodom. Yeah, that was it. Sodom. Are we excited about JT from the City Girls being out? Yeah. I mean, congrats to her from getting out of jail. Yeah. You checking for the music? What do you think's going to happen? You got one. The other one's pregnant, so it's an interesting rollout for a group. But
I think they could actually record the album. They could knock out an album. I'm sure they, Coach K and P, they two masterminds. So I'm sure they have plotted out an album and maybe even
a City Girls album.
Yeah, City Girls album. Like I'm sure.
I don't think they were
some of
going
it is-
solo. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure some of it is already recorded too, but it's just interesting when one comes home.
The timing,
the
right?
other one, she has to have maternity leave.
I would just love to hear that phone call of when she had to tell her that she was pregnant. Like you're gonna get out, and then be pregnant when you get out. Like, how did it go? I don't know. They support each other. I mean, I'm sure there's no beef there, but it wasn't what I don't think JT was expecting.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
They probably was happy, man, and I think Cardi, she's the most recent one that had a baby like right in prime time when she was.
Yeah, Cardi's the
going
first
on.
one to have a baby in the prime time of her career. Nicki, we feel, is trying that, but a lot of the other women had them in more of either before their career got started, if you look at Rico Nasty, or after they were deeper in their career and on the other side of things. So we haven't really experienced a mom in hip hop like that, or becoming a mom and all that sides, and Cardi being pregnant for the first time and photo shoots and all that. We've seen the girlfriends and the Amber Roses and all of that stuff, but not how it affects the actual artists day to day. I mean,
so it'll slow it down.
I feel like Lauryn Hill, like, she still has it, but I feel like that's kind of like put her career where it is now.
That's it's very good argument. I mean,
like,
Zion is the song. There's one kid, and then the next thing there's 5-6 kids later, and you don't really have the same career. Did she make the decision?
It was never the same after that.
Yeah, well, that might have had to do with the husband, though. Maybe.
Yeah.
Married. But
no comment.
I think that with the City Girls, like the only thing that is really going to slow up is actually the shows. Like, you can't be doing performances 8 months, 9 months pregnant or whatever.
Cardi was pretty pregnant performing though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is. I think Cardi went up to about 6, right? To about 6.
I don't know how long it was, but it was enough.
7,
There was a
8,
belly there. Yeah.
It was close. And then not only that, she came back like real soon.
Yeah,
like, after
like 3-4 months after.
That's what she was saying, that why she's having some of the issues is a little bit connected to that.
So I don't think it's going to slow it up. I think I'm not sure when the babies do. I know I look on the gram, it seems like Amber Rose has been pregnant forever.
And she keeps getting bigger. I just think she's gonna explode. I mean, she's so pregnant.
She's pregnant
super
forever.
huge.
Yeah,
but
in like cat suits.
Yeah, I don't know. When this particular baby is due, but I say like City Girls will definitely run next summer. They'll record an album. They probably could even drop the album before this year is out. To me, I feel like they could drop something in like November, December, heat it up.
So that leaves what for the end of the year? What are the big albums for the end of the year? What do we got coming? If it was old days and people were looking forward to buying people albums for Christmas, what would those albums be?
Oh, like the Black Fridays.
Yeah, what do we got coming out over the next 2 months or by the end of the year that people are really checking for?
I feel like Migos are just about due.
I think they said they're coming next year.
I
feel like they might be coming next year.
I want to say that we started off this year with the Migos coming out very soon.
Right.
Yeah,
with the covers that we did.
Their solo thing. Hey man, I just was yesterday actually, 2 days ago. I was with Fabulous and Jadakiss. They got 2 solo albums coming out. I was a big fan of the Freddie and Jason. I think that was a
great,
really slept on project.
It was a great.
Fab is dropping that Summer Shootouts Part 3, which is really dope. He has the song Choosey out.
Yeah.
I heard another record on there where he's really back to his Fab. I joked with him because I was like, you're literally Fabulous sporting on this record, because he has a lot of metaphors dealing with sports on this one particular record that I heard that's really dope. And he's, Fab is one of them guys that's timeless. He still got the look from when he came out. He's in great shape.
Oh, he looks like he's 25 years old.
Yeah, wardrobe's always correct. I'm happy to see everything with him and his lady is looking like it's back on point. They just was at G Herbo's party together the other night, taking pictures. She was on the set of the video with him. And, it seemed like, he seems very happy. I'm happy for Fab, and I'm hearing so many tremendous things with this music, even though like a lot of stuff I'm hearing is coming from his team, like Lenny, yes, but usually, Lenny will pull me aside when he got something special on his hands, and he's like, yo, this new Fab album is serious. And then Jada is coming out with a project called Ignatius, which is dedicated to Ice Pick J. You know, all of our friend. You know, that was Pick's real name, and this record is actually gonna have a lot of beats that some of the beats Pick had put to the side for Jada before he passed away. And some features that he always wanted Kiss to do. There's a record called Me that Jada is dropping very soon. It should be coming out, if not the day this podcast drops, the following week, but it's coming out really soon. And Jada is reflecting a lot on his life, you know, from threatening Puff to making money with the Rough Riders. And, you know, he's not dissing Puff, though. He's not dissing Puff. He said, that's my guy, Diddy. But he talks a little bit about the strife situation that they had. He talks about some of the things he went through in the street. It's almost like a cousin to the song Why. You know what I'm saying? Like, when Why, he looked on things of, like, that's going around the world. And this one, he kind of reflects on himself personally and what he had to do. And, you know, to me, I think it's very important, not just for hip-hop, but for New York especially, that, you know, we have these two guys, these two heavyweights coming out representing the city. Like, they got to legendary status. They both legendary status now. And, you know, it's New York need it. You know, we need some of the people from that cloth, from that, you know, that golden era where the mixtapes was king in hip hop, and, you know, people that still getting down with the lyrics and still having that New York sound, so to speak. So it's good to see that both of them are coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, Mano said it best. You know, when he was here a couple weeks ago, he was talking about Fab and was like, Fab is, you know, he's like one of the kings in Brooklyn and in hip hop, and I thought that was really dope. You know, really like honorable of, you know, because rappers, especially like New York rappers, they're
from
very
Brooklyn,
competitive.
yeah.
So you very rarely hear them giving each other credit
or calling another one any sort of king or whatever, since that's so like, let me own that title.
So that, you know, that was dope. And, you know, Fab is, you know, Fab and Jada, you know, Jada's, to me, like, Jada's top 5, like, forever. You know, he's great. There'll never be another Jada, and Fab is great too. You know, so the fact that it's like they did the shit that what Big and Hove was supposed to do. That was like the commission album. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're making a project.
Them coming together and putting the project together. Like, that was what that was supposed to be.
Like the next generation of that.
And then to do it again. You know, that there's a consistency to it. It's going to take a long time
for people to appreciate it, like, you know, like you were saying, but you're never going to have two guys like that again. You know what I'm saying? So that's excellent. You know, we was at that Def Jam party, the 35th anniversary party.
I love how you guys go to every event.
Well, we try.
I hit you about Casanova. You're like, I'm not going. I was like, what?
We in the streets like the Lock's second album. I'm saying. We are the streets like the Lock's second album. But it was dope to see them there. And I'm looking at Jada and I'm just like, damn. And I saw him after the show and I was talking to him for a minute. And I was just like, that's dope. You know, you talking about 35-year anniversary of Def Jam, LL and fucking all the Murder Inc., Rockefeller movement, all this
DMX.
Shit. And y'all the ones that's repping the shit today.
Yeah.
You know, so that was
that speaks volumes.
And it's crazy if you think about it. I mean, Jada has almost 25 years in.
Yeah.
Fab has a legit 2 decades in. Like, these guys have been here doing it consistently and, like, keeping it at the same level, even leveling up lyrically and musically as well.
Consistency. That's one of the things that I always say, is that they keep it consistent. And, you know, Fab, even a little bit more than Jada, Fab is always able to come up with, like, these really just big records. You know, I like the song Choosy. He has DaBaby on it. Jeremiah, of course, that's Jeremiah. He's the human cheat code, you know, because he has one of those voices, you know, like Nate Dogg, R. Kelly, Ty Dolla $ign. You know, he's one of these go-to people that you want him to sing on your hook. As far as the classic R&B hook, he sounds great on everything. And Fab, I think we deserve and we need a big Fabulous radio record. I think he's doing a great job. Like he got on the song the Uptown Vibes with Meek. He's always doing a great job. Even though like Rahman was saying and JFK, they've been in the game so long, but to still stay relevant and still be on these albums with some of the most popping new guys too. People always give Fab that respect, whether it's New York, out of New York. Same thing with Kiss. Kiss doing songs with Nipsey and all of these guys. They still respect Kiss. And what's funny is that for a lot of these new guys, such as like maybe DaBaby and some of these new people that's on these freshman couples, Fab and Jada are really the first blueprint to New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously we go.
That's why we put him on the 20th anniversary covers. For us it was important that the impact of people saying how important Fab and the Lox, Jada, but the Lox as a group were to hip hop and still are 20 years later. And people won't check the same way because people get older or that kind of thing. So it's a different thing. But when you're able to carve out a lane for yourself for 20 years in this industry, and we figured out ways to be long term, and it may a different amount of time, but then also as a performer, when it's about how you're judged on, so we're not getting judged or have to look or act a certain way the way they have for 20 years and step up, you stepped up your writing game, you stepped up your Q&A game or whatever, like it's not the same thing. So I think it's very impressive if you've been able to figure out how to sustain and stay relevant in whichever capacity after 2 decades in the game.
Especially with the way things change.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and especially with the way that things change, like social media, streaming, like all the different iterations of the game and the technology and all that, and being able to stay and keep up with that.
And be interested in it.
Exactly.
Be stay up and be interested enough to figure it out and keep it going and still have your record deal and still have people sitting here talking about you in a podcast and all of that.
One of the first guys I've ever interviewed in my life was Fabulous. I interviewed Fabulous for his first debut album when it was coming out right before The Towers dropped.
So who's the first rapper you ever interviewed?
The first interview?
Yeah.
Killer Priest.
Funny. Cameron.
I think.
What about you?
Mine might be Consequence. No, mine is J Live.
Damn,
Yeah.
J Live is my man. That's the homie.
Yeah, and Consequence is number 2.
J Live is the homie.
What about
Shout
you?
out to J Live. That's the homie.
I honestly do not remember for sure, but I think it might have been E.W.
He gonna text his cousin and be like, what did you call yourself? Back in '89?
I think it might have been Eric Sermon.
Nice.
We should have all 4 of them back up here at the same time.
We should.
All right, moving on. We also have, and it's tired, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because it's kind of big news. Tekashi, 1, his sentencing date gets bumped up to December 18th. 2, there's a rumor that he's already got songs in the work and producers lined up. 3, there's a story today about him having a new deal, $10 million deal, whatever it is. So that's all pretty big stuff. I think we've kind of talked about Tekashi nonstop on the podcast, but at the same time, aren't we waiting to see if he gets out or not? This is it. Is he going to make music? We're getting the answers, kind of,
Is it an independent label that's signing him? I can't see like a Def Jam or Interscope or Atlantic doing that deal.
I don't think they're releasing who it is that's signing or what the actual deal is. I mean, I got an idea what's going on, but I don't know for sure.
I just know if he gets out of jail before the end of the year, that's a pretty big fucking deal.
But aren't that my guess is why bump
crazy.
Yeah.
Why bump the
crazy.
date up to December? Why bump the sentencing date up a week before Christmas? Unless you're going to let him out and be with his kid.
Right.
I think they're letting him out that day. And I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer in any way. I think they're letting him out that day or right around then. I think they're letting him to go to the kid. I think he did what he was supposed to do in the court's eyes. I'm wondering what the restrictions they put on him, if any, or whatever. They could come back and say, hey, you're getting this amount of time. You only did 13 months. You need to do 18 months. You're in here for another whatever. Or they could let him walk. But if he did everything he was supposed to do, what does he have to wait for them to be sentenced for?
But even in the scale, like, if you really look at like the judicial system, like if somebody's charged with a RICO case, that means more than likely 9 times out of 10, that means that the feds have a case on you and you're going to jail.
Right.
They never really beat it.
Right.
That's why shout out to Irv and Murder Inc. for them beating a case like that. That's pretty fucking tremendous. But when you dealing with that, and if you plea out, it's not like a 2-year, 3-year.
You didn't plea out. You gave him everything so they could take every one of those gang members down.
Situation or something. So, and he's only been in jail for probably like a year.
Last
plus.
November.
Right. Like a year.
Yeah, I think it was November 19th.
Like about a year.
Yeah.
So, and it's like you got arrested by the feds and
But if you go that they had a case, right? And they had a case to take that gang down. Right? If this is it, and again, I'm no lawyer, whatever, I'm the same page you guys are. But if you have a federal case where they want to take this gang down, they want to take Treyway down, and they did with his help, didn't they get what they wanted out of him?
They still gonna give him at least 2 years. They ain't just
then what's the point of bumping
give him a free get out of jail card? And
what's the point of bumping the sentencing up then?
Right.
To me, if everybody's being sentenced in January, February, what was the point of putting his sentencing a week before Christmas? That's the only thing that I wonder about with there. And then if he does get out, seems like he's already got a record deal lined up.
I don't know. I know. I read the letter from
Mel Murder.
Shout out to Mel Murder. I met him before. We spoke. We had conversations a number of times. Always a really genuine dude. Obviously, he has kids. These people got responsibilities. I felt bad when I read the shit. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty sad, and for the fact that he's gonna go away and do whatever time, and at the hands of somebody else who was in on a lot of the situations too, and they not gonna face the same repercussions. That shit is just really not cool. It's just crazy to me that.
I mean, that's snitching versus not snitching, right?
Yeah, but even when people snitch, Sammy the Bull snitched, but he still did time. Sammy the Bull snitched, and he still did years. You know what I'm saying? There's really no such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing as somebody snitching and they just let them out of jail automatically. That's a flag.
But to argue it, it's not automatic. He will have done 13 months at that point.
Yeah, but for a RICO case?
Definitely for a RICO case. I'm just saying it's not in and out.
People almost get the death penalty over a RICO case. So, it's just really wild to me. But hey, shout out to him, and he was able to wiggle his way out of that situation. I tell you, if a motherfucker can get charged with a RICO case and can get out of jail, God bless them.
I'm just interested to see what's the record label that actually gave him this money, because it's $10 million for 2 albums, right? So theoretically $5 million per project.
Sure but I don't believe any numbers we see ever. I don't believe any top whatever, Forbes, whatever, so-and-so. I find all of that to be just fucking bullshit. We're going to sit there and believe everything about somebody's finances, or people aren't just... Who's going to say, no, that's not true? The label wants the deal to be big. He wants the deal to be big. So who's going to come out and argue it? Trump lies all day long about numbers. So I don't know how much we can say that. And then also, and he's the fucking president, right? Or is it's a $10 million deal, but that incorporates every expense, every this, the security when he gets out, all of that stuff. So I don't know how seriously we can take the money. I think the biggest thing I get out of it is the dude's telling us he's going to rap. He's not going anywhere. He's going to come out and start making music. I think that's been the question. What's he going to do when he gets out? Well, if he's signing a deal and doing all that and talking to producer and any of it's true, then he's on his way to try to reinvent the rap career, right?
But I can see a lot of people being interested in hearing what he has to say.
Of course. So what should he do? So what should he do? What should his first interview be? What should he do?
Want to hear what he has to say.
His first interview should be this moments of clarity.
Yeah, I don't think it's not gonna come all in one song. If he was smart, he'd build a body of work around.
He's gonna get paid for his first interview. I guarantee that. He's gonna do something where he could get paid. He was trying to get paid before he went to jail, so he's definitely going to try to do something where he
but it's just interesting what outlet chooses to interview him, what outlet wants to put themselves out there and decide that they're going to do the interview, because it does look somewhat like a cosign just sitting with him, right? And giving him the platform. He can go the YouTube way and do his own interview, a la Cole, M, and Kanye, where you control your own edit and control your own stuff, and you don't let anybody interview, and you hire the person to interview or whatever. You could just do IG live videos and talk shit to YG the whole time. You know, there's potential is endless.
He's gonna be on fucking Good Morning America, and Shaw's gonna tell us all about it.
I don't think it's a co-signer if you interviewing him. I just think that, you know, as an interviewer, you got to ask the hard questions. You got to bring in the.
He's got to be prepared to answer those questions, right?
You know,
if he's gonna do it.
Softball, like, this is, you know, for whoever's doing the interview, this is like one of the most interesting and one of the most serious interviews for the culture that there is. You know, this is the first of its kind, and it's something that, you know, has to be taken very serious. I don't think it's co-signing them. I mean, you got but you're deciding to touch with. You are deciding to fuck with him if you do the interview and put him, and if you do it on your account and you through your business and you're getting traffic off of it, you are using it and co-signing it to a degree. Nobody could figure out how to do that before. That was a whole issue.
He could mess around and go on CNN.
He could.
They don't care about that shit.
Yeah, no, he definitely could.
And I could see something like that happening. He can go on CNN.
But they wouldn't know the ins and outs of what to really ask. That's the thing. Like, if you stay in the hip hop media, we'll at least get, you know, or in the entertainment media, we'll at least hopefully get the questions we want asked. And if you put it in Robin Roberts or whatever it is, you know, or who did 21 Savage? What was he on? And he went to the morning show or something. You're hitting a different audience. It's a whole different interview there.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go to one of those mainstream media outlets.
Yeah. He goes to jail.
Good Morning America. Yeah. But I think he's going to end up going on like a CNN or whatever, just because, you know, just watching them like document like everything that what's been going on. I'm like,
and are you checking for the first song? Do you care? Do you not even listen to it because you're so against him? You don't even want to know what he has to say. And if you like the song, are you playing it in your car?
No. That's a no.
I mean, I think
just in the house, not in the car.
You was doing good with the first question. I'm like, no. I was thinking about the first one. You said the second. I was like, no, that's a definite no.
I mean, of course.
Are you following him on social? You know, did you unfollow?
No.
Us as journalists, we have to be aware of what's going on. So we have to listen to the song. We have to watch the interview. I feel like if we have the opportunity to do an interview, we got to do the interview. You know,
I would do it. You wouldn't do the interview?
I don't know if I want to do the interview or not. I mean, and the journalist in you definitely wants to do it and be like, yo, I want to ask you everything. I want to grill you. So you really want to do it, and that, honest. You know, if it was all honest, you're dying because you're going to be upset about any question that anybody else misses, right? You know, you're going to sit there and be like, I would ask this, I would ask this, I would ask that. An interview like that might have a lot of strings attached to it that you're never going to be able to have the control that you want. Right. So is that worth it if you're not going to control everything and they control it all? You know, and then what's the response you're going to get from people if you do sit with him, and how are people going to feel about you even giving him that platform, or you sitting down and taking the time to give him the benefit of the doubt? And then how do rappers respond to that? Because you sat there and gave him the benefit of the doubt or gave him the platform to speak or talk, but at the same time, you know, they're all pissed off at you because you even fucked with him to get that far. You know, I've been conflicted about everything Tekashi related since the moment we met him. You know, and I believe everybody has been. You know, we've said it before. There's been outlets that have sat there and said, we're going to do articles about journalists and media outlets not knowing how to deal with the Tekashi story. You know, and because if you do this, it looks like you're co-signing sexual deviancy. And now you've got we can't forget, he's got the sex case or had that history. And now you've got the snitch side. So you've got these two huge things. Is it easier to just stay away from dude, or is it not? It's our due diligence as XXL to make sure we interview him because everybody wants to know that. I think every one of us that I've spoken to in media is completely conflicted on how to deal with Tekashi. And now we're only even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a pussy. I don't really know.
He might not even do no interviews, man. He might just like, yo, I'm putting this all in the music. Y'all check the music, see what it is.
But even if he will never do that. Even if he doesn't do interviews, he will talk his shit on social. He's too much of a... He can't help himself. He can't help himself. So the thing we're sitting there is what we would like to see him do, or what do we think he should do based on the situation he's in. We'd like to see him give a completely candid interview, talk about everything. But, you know, like there's two different elements. If I'm the manager, what do I think he should do right now? If I'm the journalist who wants to hear everything, what do I think he should do
One of the things, you know, another thing too, I actually... wasn't even factoring this in, but the safety value, like it might not even be safe to actually do an interview with this guy because they watching him. You know, like say you say, oh, he's gonna be XXL building. We doing live broadcast, 3 p.m.
We went through a crazy freshman shoot because of all of that 2 years ago, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely a security issue involved.
It's a real security issue.
The security issue isn't an issue. I mean, to me, I'm not worried about the security of it. And if people are going to be like, well, he's up there interviewing so-and-so. To me, I don't know. Sitting with him and talking to him and asking him those questions, how much are you allowing him to defend himself, right? And how bad does it look that you're sitting there and letting him defend himself to the hip-hop community versus everybody wants to hear it and you're the one who has it? I don't know which has more value or which you're supposed to stay away from. I've never seen a situation like it, you know? I've never seen someone on stands get straight up there and snitch and then go to out and say, fuck all you, which I think is going to happen.
It's going to be an interesting story. You know, he's a young guy who it looks like he just got in over his head and
do you have any compassion for him?
Diverted back to who he probably really was.
Right.
Yeah, I do. Because I felt like if he did that, you know, whatever transpired, that's who he was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just all a cover-up. You know, so I do, you know, which means that he was put under pressure for whatever amount of reasons. I definitely have, compassion for him. And, you know, and he's a young guy, too, you know, who was surrounded by, like, some real gangster dudes. You know what I'm saying? I think he just got in over his head. Now, there's no excuse for what he did, but, I mean, if he wants to do right, he'll come out. You know, he'll explain it.
It's either going to be a cautionary tale or the opposite.
He'll come out, explain it, you know, like explain it right, own up to it, make some money, and take care of them motherfuckers' families. Mm-hmm. That's how you make it right.
Mm-hmm. I don't see that happening, but I don't know.
I don't either. I don't either.
All right, anything else going on? Any other Tekashi comments or news I'm forgetting about? I don't know. I'm staring at you.
I don't want to see no fucking headlines about snitch Tekashi or so, unless it's XXL or at least media outlets. I don't want to be seeing you talk about a fucking snitch on NBC and fucking TMZ and Daily News. You're not of the culture. You can't talk like that. That's our culture talk. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit
makes
just
you feel like they're making fun of it the whole time.
Right? It kills me when you see shit like that. But let a motherfucker run about on your ass. When you leave in the office and you be like, oh shit, you gonna tell too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So don't be throwing that shit around. It's not cool. This shit is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, people is doing these things for a reason. Again, I don't condone it, but they shouldn't be throwing that shit around. I can't be feeling when I be seeing TMZ like, oh, snitch Tekashi. Even though he snitched, you don't have no fucking right to be talking about some shit like that.
But also half the stuff you guys are doing are snitching on other celebrities to a degree, you know?
Exactly.
Big time.
Yeah. You know, running up on you in the airport to snitch what you got going on there, what you're doing here, what you're doing there. It's all kind of that element, or rumors. All right. Anything else, guys? Are we good for the week? What do you think?
Very good.
Very good. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.